fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing two looks with two palettes that just so happen to be the Colourpop Lilac You A Lot and the It's My Pleasure palette. I went ahead and purchased these on sale for $9 each because I am planning on doing a battle of the purple palettes, and I just felt like in order to do a really well-rounded video I wanted to include both of these palettes because they are so affordable and they're really beautiful purple palette options. So in today's video I'm kind of doing a first impression because I had never played with them before the first look that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and do some swatches, kind of give you guys my first impression and then my second impression. So I'll kind of spoil it a little bit and just kind of tell you how I'm feeling, and then we can jump into the looks. But so far, this is not a review by any means because I've only done two looks and there's 18 shades here, so I definitely want to play with it more. But I am really impressed. I felt like the mattes blended so nicely. Some of the shimmers are more chunky than others, and I would probably use a lot of them wet or with a glitter glue, but overall I'm kind of blown away because I've tried a lot of Colourpop palettes where I'm just left feeling like, it was okay, but I absolutely loved playing with both of these. I thought they were so nice and they're beautiful together. Like I said, I'm kind of shocked because I just wasn't expecting to love them so much. So here is Lilac You A Lot. It's definitely a little bit more on the lighter side. There's some pinky tones in here, but mostly true purples. There's some pastels. There's kind of a good mixture of like light, medium, deeper shades. I feel like you can definitely get a gradient out of this, although the overall range is definitely a little bit lighter. And then here is what It's My Pleasure looks like. There's definitely some more kind of smoky, deeper, metallic-y shades in here, but again, there's a good variety. There's different matte shades. This one, Sleeper, is so beautiful, and I honestly had no real problems with anything, so I'm super excited to play with these again and keep testing them out for the battle, and I'm so glad that I decided to go ahead and grab them. Even though this is definitely one of those purchases I would not have made if I didn't do YouTube videos, I was pleasantly surprised. So I'd love to know if you have tried either of these palettes, what your experience was, how you like it compared to other purple palettes, because so far, like I said, I'm kind of smitten. So let's go ahead and jump on into the looks. So let's just go ahead and start off with some swatches. I thought that might be helpful for y'all, but it'll definitely be helpful for me because I don't even know what two looks I want to do yet. So let's do Lilac You A Lot first. I'm going to try and swatch them both on my arm without having to wash anything off, just so we can see how they look like together. So first we have Cloud, which looks to be the prettiest light purple with a golden kind of shift to it. And then there is Imagine This, a light mauve tone, Ghostin', a light kind of pinky purpley pastel shade. Ooh, that one didn't swatch too good. Let's do an extra layer of that. I feel like it picked up pretty well on my finger, but it's not wanting to swatch on my skin. That's weird. Look at what a pretty color it is too. It's a nice mauve, but it's just not swatching. Alright, next we have Wakeup, which is a purpley blue shifting color. Fluff, which is moving around quite a lot. I don't know if you can tell. It's like not sticking to the magnet very well. Kind of just more of a true purpley tone. And then Trainwreck, which is a little bit more of a silvery purple-esque color. I feel like the shimmers are looking more just like satins. Not super intense. And then we have Zoned Out, just a really light pastel. Iffy, which is a brighter kind of vibrant purple. And then Filtered. Ooh. That one's a little bit more like plummy, but still has a good amount of vibrancy to it. Alright, so I feel like the swatches of these two shades versus these three mattes are very inconsistent, but the color scheme is pretty. Definitely hoping that it'll perform a little better on my eyes than how it's swatching right now. Alright, now jumping into It's My Pleasure. First we have the shade Kittenfish, which is kind of like a purpley pink matte that looks super pretty. Do or Dough, a deeper purpley blue shift, and then Pretty Cruel, which this one looks like it'd be a good transition shade. It's kind of more of a rosy tone. Reminds me of Bloom from my Alma palette, but it has like little golden sparkles in it. I hate matte shades that have sparkles in it. Just don't see the point. Alright, next we have more of a burgundy shimmer, which is called Bare Minimum. That one actually looks really, really nice. There's Earth Shine. I've got a fuzzy stuck to my finger. But Earth Shine is really, really pretty. It's like a very light duochrome. And then we have Chiclet, which is a deeper purple shimmer. Alright, next we have Mr. Sandman. It's another really stunning metallic shade. Fan Fiction. That is such a pretty rosy, kind of mid-tone, pinky tone. And then Sleeper, which is kind of like a deep plum. I really like that color. Alright, there are both of the palettes completely swatched out. I feel like the color schemes together are really nice. I can see how they would definitely complement each other. I am super drawn to do like a really purple look and then one that's like a little bit more on the pink leaning side. So that's probably what I'll do. I feel like the It's My Pleasure palette swatched better than the Lilac You a lot, but they both look pretty, so we're gonna give them a go. Alright, so I already went ahead and primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this shade called Zoned Out. And I'm gonna pop that right into my crease as my first transition shade. Man, I keep getting fuzzies everywhere. Alright, so I feel like that looks really pretty. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this one right here called Kitten Fish. It seems to be just a little bit darker, and I'm gonna go a little bit further down in my crease with that one. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Iffy, and I'm going to pop that right onto my outer V. And I'm going to blend it into the crease about halfway. I'm going to go back in with my previous brush and just blend that out. I'm going to go ahead and take this shimmer right here called Chiclet and use that on the outer half of the lower lash line. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and use some of that shade on my little fluffy small crease brush as well, and I'm going to put it into my outer V. I'm not going to blend it out too much, just going to kind of blend it over the lid just to add a little bit of that depth of tone of that kind of more bluey purple. Did get a little bit of fallout from that shade. I'm also going to go ahead and take Do or Dough, and I'm going to take that on that same pencil brush. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and wet it just so there's no fallout and to make it a little bit extra intense. And I'm popping that on the front of the lower lash line. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Fluff for my lid. Again, I'm going to spray it just because I feel like these shimmers are a little bit more on the chunky side. I don't know, not chunky exactly, but they're just not packed super tight. So I'm going to go ahead and put that all over the lid. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Earth Shine, and I'm just going to attempt to use that for my inner corner and see how it goes. Ooh, that's pretty. Alright, so I think that's really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and use the Colourpop liner in the shade Piggy Bank for my waterline, throw on the Thrive Cosmetics mascara, and I'll be right back. Tell me why I was watching Station 19. while I was doing my mascara, and now I'm trying not to cry and ruin it. The struggle was real. That show is intense. For highlighter today, I'm going to go ahead and use the Ofra highlight in the shade Neptune, which I did receive through Octoly. I've been super excited to try this because it looks to be like a super nice light purpley tone. I love Ofra's highlighters. So there's what it looks like. Ooh, that's intense. Okay, I barely picked up any product. Just gonna go ahead and blend that in. I feel like purple highlighter, especially like for my skin tone, I feel like it's kind of like there's this really fine line between like adding just a little touch of purple, but not too much to where it ends up adding like a gray effect to this cheeks. Kind of want to use this shade as an eyeshadow too. I think that'd be pretty. So I need to try that out. I think that looks okay. I feel like it blended out pretty well. And it adds just the tiniest little bit of a purple undertone. For lips, I'm going to go ahead and take my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Sweet Mouth. Alright, so this is the finished first look. I really love how it turned out. I feel like it's such a beautiful monochromatic purple toned eyeshadow. I felt like the mattes blended really easy for me. They were pigmented, not much fallout from those. The shimmers were a little bit more messy on the crumbly side, but again, they do look pretty. Not my favorite shimmer formula. Like if I could change the lid shade, I would definitely make it more intense and sparkly and all the things that I love. But even like Earthshine on the inner corner, I think is so beautiful. It just has kind of like this vibrant pinky purpley shift to it. So pretty. So let's go ahead and jump on into the second look. Alright, so let's jump into the second look. Again, today I'm going to go a little bit more pinky. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with this shade right here called Ghostin'. I also already used the Anastasia eye primer just to prime my lids. Ghostin' has a ton of kickback when you dip the brush in, so be wary of that. But I'm just going to go ahead and start that shade off through my crease. I'm using the Sigma E35, which I feel like is still one of my favorite brushes for transition shades. I was just thinking about how good this brush is, a staple for me. I feel like if you have smaller eyes, it's better than the E40 because it's a little bit smaller, but also the denseness of it is really great for having a decent amount of pigmentation as you blend out. I really like that color. It's such a pretty like pinky purple kind of in between tone. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take this shade right here called Fan Fiction, and I'm going to put that directly through my crease, just a little bit lower down. So I'm kind of just getting the shape how I want it with this smaller crease brush, and then I'll go back into the fluffier one to really blend it out. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Sleeper, and I'm going to pop that onto my outer V. Really love the tone of that shade. Not going to lie, super impressed with how these mattes are performing. So again, I kind of worked out the shape that I wanted with that color. I'm going to go ahead and take my little brush switch, which I finally found, and basically cleaned off majority of that product, and I'm going to go ahead and just blend in circular motions on the edge of the outer V. And then again, just going in with that original brush, no additional product. I think I'm going to go ahead and take some of this shade called Imagine That, and I'm going to start blending that out along the lower lash line. Kind of just like a really light pastel pinky purple. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this shade right here called Filtered. I'm taking it on a super tiny little smudger brush. It's very thin. This is the Morphe M508, and I'm getting that as close to the lash line as possible, and then just smudging it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this shade right here called Bare Minimum, and I'm just going to use it as is. I feel like that one's pretty metallic and it seems to be packed well. So I'm picking that up on my flat shader brush, and I'm going to put it onto the outer half of the lid. So really pretty burgundy. My goodness. That'd be such a nice smoky eye too. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted. I think I'm just going to go ahead. I was going to test out more shades, but that is just so beautiful. I'm going to pop that on the entire lid. Like that. Wow. I'm gonna use my brush to lightly blend that into the crease so it's not too harsh of an edge. I'm gonna go into my smallest crease brush and just really, really lightly blend this area right here. Like I said, I don't want there to be any harsh lines. I'd rather have it just kind of smoked out. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a little touch of this shade called Mr. Sandman, and I'm gonna pop that onto the inner part of the lower lash line right here. Pick up a little bit more. Added just a tiny, tiny little bit of a blue shimmer. I feel like it's not doing that much though. Oh, there we go. All right, last but not least, I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Cloud 9 for my inner corner. It's really pretty. All right, I am gonna go back into my flat shader brush and just hit my inner corner just because I don't want that to be choppy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my Charmer liner from Colourpop, which is a really beautiful burgundy shade. I feel like it'll match this look perfectly. Some mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, for highlight today, I'm gonna go into my Ofra Pillow Talk, which is a really beautiful light pink shade. Obviously, it's an oldie, but a goodie. Just gonna go ahead and pop that on the tops of my cheekbones. Oh man, I love this highlight so much. And then for lips today, I'm going to go into my Linda Halberry lipstick in the shade Pink Opal. And then I'm going to take my e.l.f. lip oil in the shade Pink Kiss and just put that on the center. Alright, so this is the finished second look, and I absolutely adore how it turned out. I feel like that shade, bare minimum, the metallic burgundy all over the lid, is definitely the star of the show. I'm so, so happy with that color. I feel like it's super unique, and it just completely stole my heart. I've had so much fun doing 2 looks with these palettes. I'm really, really impressed. I'm sure I'll talk about it in the beginning, so this is probably repetitive, but I really hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, maybe got inspired to dig back into some older palettes. I know that they're new to me, but probably not new to a lot of other people. So that's everything, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.